Hello, I'm Dr. Matt Turner. Yes, that is Doctor. I have numerous degrees printed out online. As most of you probably don't know, I know everything that there is to know about everything. And today I've decided to share with you just a teeny tiny little smidgen, just an itty bitty bitty little one, of all of my vast knowledge that I know about everything that there is to know about the universe. And what that is, I will be sharing with you today, is the concept of natural selection. Now before I begin, I shall introduce to you the rest of my crew that I have with me here today. I have my musician friend, Matt Turner. Hey. He's here because I can't stand doing these sorts of things in silence. And to help me with my presentation, I have my technician friend, Matt Turner. Sup? He'll be helping things move right along. So without further ado, Mr. Turner. Yeah. Could you play me something bluesy? Got it. Oh yes, that's good. And Mr. Turner, could you begin our presentation? You got it. Natural selection, simply put, is a vehicle of evolution. What's evolution? I'm glad you asked. Evolution is the thing that allows a species to change over a very long period of time, whether it be for good or bad. And natural selection is something that allows it to do it better, where it will develop traits so that it may adapt better to its environment and then reproduce so that its offspring may also carry these traits.
Mr. Turner, what sort of environmental changes are you talking about?
Environmental changes may include things like flooding, which turn an entire area into a watery abyss, or a large drought, which suddenly makes that same area into a large desert. This may affect a species that's been living there for a very long amount of time, and as a result, natural selection will come into play in order to give this species the traits it needs in order to survive.
Go on.
Natural selection, however, does not favor the weak. Isn't that right, Mr. Turner? Mostly we figure that means yes. Given certain environments, certain traits will be highly desired. Mr. Turner, on it. You will never find horses with fins. A horse with fins is absolutely useless. Horses do not live in water, and you will not find them in water, so why would they have fins? And that's where natural selection comes into play. Natural selection weeds out all those weaker traits that are unnecessary for survival and allows a species to only keep the strongest, and everything else gets thrown away.
Can you speed this up, man? We're kind of in a hurry.
I'm glad you mentioned hurrying, because hurrying reminds me of time, and speaking of time, time has everything to do with natural selection. Natural selection doesn't happen overnight. It takes a very long time for a certain trait to take hold in its environment, and as a result, it takes a very long time for the process to become right, so that a species may get exactly what it wants.
I suppose that makes sense.
Of course it makes sense. I'm the one that said it. But natural selection doesn't just target everything and everything.
That's not true. Yes, it does.
Specifically, it's targeting reproduction in any given creature. Natural selection is trying to attempt to make a species have more, live longer, and be stronger in terms of species length, and the best way to have that is through reproductive. So, natural selection targets reproduction because that's the best way to do it.
Pun very much intended.
Now it's time for counter-argument phase.
Please, let's not fight.
Don't worry, it won't be much of a fight. There are those that believe that evolution and even natural selection don't exist. They wonder, where's the evidence? Well, really, the evidence is all around us and within us.
Huh?
One may take note of the bones that are inside of the human body. The bones inside of the human body are very similar to the bones of other creatures that are inside of the world. But these aren't just the bones, it's also in the organs and the vein, all the way down into the cellular structures of all these different creatures. And if one were to connect the dots between all of these things, you will find that many of them seem to have a common ancestor.
You gotta slow down, bro. What's a common ancestor?
A common ancestor is more or less the grandfather of two or more different species, where a single species started to develop different adaptations as a result of natural selection, and numerous species were formed as a result. Whether or not those two species still exist today, it can be observed within their structures that they have those similar structures as a result of their ancestry.
Wait a minute, are you trying to tell me that my grandfather was a gorilla?
You specifically? Absolutely. But for the rest of us, not necessarily. Which brings me to the last portion of the evidence.
Gah, finally.
Natural selection occurs over an immensely long amount of time.
Believe me, it's true.
That being said, you won't notice these changes day by day. It takes place over the course of thousands, if not millions of years, and because it happens over millions of years, you can understand that over time, things do change, especially over such large spans of that, and that is exactly the avenue that natural selection takes.
I understand.
And that's wonderful news. Unfortunately, that is all the time we have, as I am very hungry and I must go naturally select some food from my fridge. But if there's anything that I want you to take out of this, it would be simply these final parting words. Natural selection. It's a good thing. Was that good? Do you think that's gonna be okay? Yeah, it'll be fine. Why? I don't know, it just kind of felt like it ended kind of abruptly. Just shut up and play the credits.